with Intention, podcast where we bring you stories from around the globe. Hello and welcome back to another episode on Rise and Thrive Mornings with Intention. And today I have a beautiful guest, Sylvie, with us. So welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Sylvie, please tell us a little bit about yourself and your background. What do you do?
Well, I'm a documentary filmmaker and producer. I've had a company for 40 years this year, doing social impact documentaries, bringing about changes in different areas, health, society.
Okay, that's wonderful. And tell us, please, you are in the Ripple Effect of Impact. What inspired you to write for this collaboration book that just actually launched today, August
Yes,
20th?
it's launched today, and it was when I heard the title because I know Kathy Dirksen, who's the editor on this, and when I heard the ripple effect of impact, I thought, that's me. That's what I do. You know, I create films to create impact. I still believe that films can change the world. And I have done it, you know. I mean, I've brought about changes in my society. I work in Quebec now, so I've brought a lot of changes in Quebec. And that's one of the stories that I share in the book, is how I brought about changes with regards to midwifery. There were no midwives here in Quebec when I arrived, and I was pregnant with my daughter. And so I participated in this whole movement at that time, the feminism of the era. It was like, why should doctors control our bodies? You know, that's where I was. I was in that era. And so I realized that if I wanted to really have my own birth as a powerful moment and be responsible for it, well, I needed to do it at home. And so I found an elderly doctor who was willing to come, who had done many, many, many births. And then I realized that I had to do a film on the subject because it was so important, and there was a big movement taking place. Even like people from the Ministry of Social Affairs, the women who were there were saying, no, we've got to take back birth. We've got to take back our power as women. And so it was an entire movement. And I basically just did a film looking at different types of births. And at that time, the midwives were illegal, and they accepted to participate in the film. And the film had a huge, huge impact. I mean, I toured the province, you know, 500 people per session, lots of questions. I had people come up to me, and even recently, like in the last 3 weeks, someone came up to me because she recognized my name when I went to buy something at the store. And then she took me aside and she said, you know, you changed my life. And so that's like really powerful as a filmmaker. When you're told that, it's like, wow, that's why we do films, you know. So it's because we want to change someone's life by opening up their horizon, by allowing them to see something else. But I've also participated in changing politics with some of my films. For example, we did a film this is back in, I forget, you know, because I have to look at my bio to see which year it was that I did that film, because I've produced or directed over 50 films in my 40 years as a
Wow,
documentary
that's
filmmaker.
amazing.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
incredible.
so this one film called Anticosti, Chase for Extreme Oil, the Hunt for Extreme Oil. There was this policy to go and extract shale gas from this beautiful island in the St. Lawrence Seaway. And it's a very famous man called Dominique Champagne, who he was the director of the Beatles for the Cirque du Soleil. So it gives you an idea of the
Mm-hmm.
kind of person. He had never done a film before, but he wanted to do a film because he was very attached to this island. And so we did a film on the island. And when the prime minister of, of that province of Quebec, Couillard at that time, went to the Paris talks, he said, after seeing the film, we're going to stop the fracking. And now this island is a UNESCO protected site.
Wow.
So you see, that's the kind of impact
Mm-hmm.
with regards to society or politics or with regards to people. what I also do in my film, because as a documentary filmmaker, we're not journalists who come in and want to see the two sides. We have a point of view. We have an idea about what's happening. We've done our research, we've written a script, and then we go and do it with real people. And of course, sometimes there can be surprises, but basically, um, we connect with people. Like the people that we film with can become friends. So, for example, when I did the film on birth, which unfortunately is not in English, there presently there's a provincial organization that's called the Cinémathèque Québécoise. So it's like they have all the films of the province of Quebec, and they want to translate my film, even though it was released in 81,
Oh, wow.
because it was done in 16 millimeter, and now it's been digitized so that new feminists, new women can see the film. So it's available right now in French, and they're working on the translation because I think it's important. But
Wow.
anyways, so sorry.
It's okay.
So, for example, there was an old midwife in my film. She was so sweet, and she had been a midwife in the colonies in the north of Quebec at a time when there was like no doctors, and she was doing everything. And so she became like a good friend of the family, and became my children's grandmother, adopted grandmother. So that's another expression of impact. How in documentary film we become friends sometimes with people and they continue into our lives.
Wow. So I haven't had a chance to read your story yet because just got the book recently. But tell us, what is the core message you hope that the readers take from reading your particular chapter?
The core message. That's a good question there. Well, the core message is that basically any form of art, I do films, we can create impact. It touches people. It opens the kinds of films that I do. It opens the heart and also the mind. So it's at the two levels. It's not you get connected to the characters, so and basically I love what I do. So I think we can feel the passion for this type of work. It's an art form.
Wow, I love that perception on that. Tell me, there probably wasn't much, but was there any challenges at all while writing this piece of this chapter? No, I
No,
didn't
I
think.
I sat down and I wrote it, and I did like a first draft, and then I showed it to my partner, and he's not the father of my children, so he doesn't know everything from my life, and he cried.
No, my
I thought,
goodness.
oh, okay, well, maybe it's because he loves me so much.
Hey, you made a ripple effect right there, right?
I made a ripple effect right there. Exactly,
Oh wow,
exactly.
that's beautiful. I
That
can't wait
was
to read your
touching.
story. Yeah. So I know you shared a little bit. Is there any other story you'd like to share with our audience that had a significant impact on someone's life? I know you probably have tons, but is there a favorite one you
Yeah,
like
for
to?
example, I did a film with young boys who were in a reception center. And so because what had happened is my two teenage children, my son was younger than teenage, when my daughter was a teenage, they were victims of gratuitous violence. Two different situations, and it sort of happened very quickly, like in the same month. And I said to myself, my goodness, what's happening to my society, you know? And so I decided to do a research on the roots of violence. And then with the research, there are much young boys who are caught in these cycles. And then I discovered that there's oftentimes drug-related problems also with the violence. And so I went into this reception center and was, because as a documentary filmmaker, you spend time with people. You just don't come in and shoot, you spend time, you get to know people. And well, I know that I changed these boys' lives because they went on to get out of that cycle of either violence or drug addiction. And we've done films. I've produced films also on with prostitutes, and for them to tell their story and how they want to get out of that. You know, all kinds of films. A film in India with people who are sold. It's like they're films that really touch people and allow them to see another reality.
Wow. I can just see all that. I have to check out some of your videos. I'm very curious now because honestly, I haven't heard much of you before, so I'm so eager now to go check out. And I hope you share a website or something. I'm not sure where you are, but we'll share that with the audience where they can go check out your
Yeah, my
productions and things
website
like that.
right now is a bit, hasn't been retouched. It's going to be redone probably in the next year, so it's old. But there's, on Vimeo, there are things that people can rent. The film on Anticosti is free because when it was announced that it was a UNESCO site, we allowed it to be online so people can see it in my invitation. Um, and other films, some films that you rent for 99 cents or
Yeah.
$1.99 kind of thing.
Oh, that's so
I've
cool.
got films in English. I've got some films in French. Whoops, did I? Okay. I've got some films in French with English subtitles.
Awesome. So tell us, being that, what advice would you give to someone who wants to write or create a meaningful impact or masterpiece? Being you the expert here,
Well, I think, if you want to create impact, you have to come from that place. You have to be determined that you're going to create an impact. And that's where I've always come from. I know that there's change. I've always, I named my company, uh, it's called Chercher à contre-courant. That means you're going against the current. I don't follow the status quo. I'm always a little bit ahead of the curve. Uh, for example, midwives became legal at one point, but I was there at a time when it wasn't legal. So I had to push for that. And I pushed with other women and with families. And so it's the same thing with any film that you're doing. It's like you're pushing the status quo. You're allowing people to see some kind of transformation and to live a kind of transformation through identification with the characters that are there. I'm always interested in personal or social transformation.
wow. So do you have any daily practices or routines that help you stay focused and motivated?
Do I have what?
Any routine? Do you meditate? Do
I
you do
meditate.
gratitude?
I meditate, and I also take time. Well, nature is very important for me. Nature is a way for me to reconnect. Uh, if I'm like, my batteries are down, nature is my remedy.
You recharge?
And go get, the work on my nervous system because I'm a go, go, go kind of person. I'm very active. People are like amazed sometimes when they
I
realize
am. I'm amazed how
the
much
angel I
energy
am.
you have. I can feel it through the screen and you're like miles away, hundreds of miles away. I'm like, wow, this lady has so much energy. Can I
Yeah.
have some?
So
It's
I have good
amazing.
energy, but I
You
have to
do.
take care as I get older. As I get older, I realize that now I have to take care. And there's things that I don't want to do anymore. I've let young directors, become directors. I've mentored them. And
You
now I don't
shift.
want to do that anymore. I
Yeah.
want to just make my own films and have
Yeah.
other people in my company take care of the others who are doing films. I'm much more, it's the last phase of my life. I'm going into that last quarter, we would say. And so it's important for me to take more time for my body, for my mental health, for my spiritual life. Uh, so that's been the big work that I've been doing in the past year.
that kind of a little bit answers my question, but I'm still eager to ask you, are there any other upcoming books maybe you're gonna produce or anything else you're working on that you'd like to give us a
Well,
sneak peek?
I'm working on a film right now called Embracing Impermanence. So it's the stories of five women who have gone through something difficult, where, life just sort of hit them hard and they've bounced back. So it's a lot about resilience. And I've decided to include myself because I realize that I'm going through my own phase of impermanence, which is losing my youth, how to age, how to accept it. It's not necessarily easy. How to accept that I'm no longer to be the one I've been, that woman that drives everything and gets it done. I don't want to be that anymore. I want to get into that other phase of my life, which is much more serene.
Yeah. As they say, age gracefully, I think.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
Um, how do you personally define success, and has that definition evolved over time?
That's a good question. Uh, well, I'm very critical of myself, so it's very difficult for me to say, okay, success. Of course, we've won prizes, and it's always nice to win a prize and have a trophy. Um, but I'm much more, I'm very satisfied or proud of, like, for example, the work that we've done in the company, because we've always been a tag. I don't know how to say that in English, but we're honest. We're honest, and if I don't know what to say apart from that. I'm proud of what I've done. So that's success. And documentary filmmaking is not the kind of thing that, we don't have like leather couches in our offices kind of thing. It's you're ahead of the curve, so you're questioning things. You don't have like stars that are coming in and, this whole feeling of, you have to have a star in your documentary for people to look at it. I'm really not coming from that place. I'm really coming from a place of everybody can be a star.
I
Everybody's
love that.
got a story. Everybody's got an important story, and anybody can be the the subject of a film. If you take the time, um, you will create some kind of beauty. Like, see, this is
Oh, wow. I
so that's
love
like
that.
that's my like a vision board that I did, not too long ago. So
Yeah.
it represents all kinds of things about myself. So I do these kinds of things. I've also belonged to a women's group for 40 years. It's very, very
Oh.
important. It's
I
been
think I
very
saw that
important.
picture, if I'm not mistaken, on your Facebook, or no, something similar.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I don't go on Facebook too much, and
okay.
I don't share too
It
much
is
these types of
beautiful.
things.
Yeah, it is
Pretty
beautiful.
happy with it. So
Wow.
I could
You
write a
just,
book. I could write a book on many things. I've got amazing experiences, and maybe I will do that. Now that I'm going to be leaving behind producing and all the administration and just concentrating on directing and creating my own films. I'm working with my daughter, which is fun. So it's very intergenerational. And so for me, it's exciting that we'll be doing this film together called Embracing Impermanence. And I want to be shooting next week. And not next week. I'll be shooting next week. I want to be in filming it next year.
next year. Wow.
Yeah,
You are so inspiring. Wow. So the name of the podcast is, as you know, Rise and Thrive, Mornings with Intention. So what does this title evoke for you, and how do you see the importance of starting a day with intention?
very important. Very important. What I do is my daughter has a card game called that. It's in French, of course, but it's going to be in English. And so I take a little card from her game, and I said, what is the posture that I should have today? How should I approach my day? What does the universe tell me? And so for today, for example, I got source de joie.
I wish this is where I wish I knew French.
Source de joie means um, source of joy.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's children celebrating, people celebrating.
Wow.
And
And we should celebrate today. I booked
exactly, we're
today
celebrating
became
the launch of the book.
yeah, and it's a #1 international bestseller, so we have something to celebrate. We are still having a evening party, so you guys are welcome to join, of course. So this is so truly amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your passion, your expertise, and I can't wait to hear and watch some of your production. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in on this wonderful podcast. And Sylvie, thank you so much for being such a beautiful light on the show. Any
Thank you.
last words you'd
It
like to
was a
share?
pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. And everybody have a beautiful day. And we'll be posting this podcast shortly. And all the information will be listed in this video, how to get in touch with us. Thank you so much and have a beautiful day. Thank you.